Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. So today I'm going to go over some DNS basics. So let's start. In the world of computer devices, they're identified or labeled. They're labeled identified using numbers called IP addresses over a network. Human beings like us, on the other hand, we're more accustomed to using names to identify one another. So in order to bridge this communication gap between computers and users and make communications between both parties easier, network engineers developed something called DNS. DNS stands for Domain Name System. What DNS Server does is it converts names to numbers, so the computer can understand which website or computer the user wants to communicate with. If I was to be more specific, it resolves domain names to IP addresses. For example, when you type in a web page, type a website address into a web browser, DNS will convert that name into an IP address. Okay, so if you want to visit a website, you can simply also type in the IP address and it'll take you to the same website. So you basically convert names to IP address. IP address is numbers the computer understands, and names is the user. It's easier for the users, which is us lot. We understand them, saying it's easier for us to remember names like website names and stuff, So you can. So when you type in, like for example, let's just say google.com in your web browser, the DNS server will search through its database to find a matching IP address. When it finds it, it will resolve that domain name to that IP address of Google's website. And once that is done, your computer will be able to communicate with the Google web servers and retrieve the web pages. So that's how it works. That's how DNS. This is the whole process of this. When you type in google.com or yahoo.com or msn.com in your web browser, it will search through the DNS server database to find a matching IP address. When it finds it, it retrieves the web page and it displays it on your screen. So basically, DNS works like a phone book. When you want to search for a number, you look up the name of the person first, and then it will give you a number. So that's how DNS basically works. It's similar to your phone book that we used to have, So the steps that DNS takes. So let me just go over that for you guys. As you can probably see on screen, this is how the DNS server works. So let's just say you typed in yahoo.com or google.com or any other website, msn.com or bbc.com, whatever, .co.uk, In the web browser, your computer can't find that IP address in its own cache memory. It will send the query to the next level, which would be the resolver server. The resolver server is the ISP. That's this one over here. So when the resolver server receives the query from your computer or request from your computer, it will first check its own cache memory to find the IP address for which you're looking. If it can't can't find that IP address, then it will pass the query to the next level, which is the root server. Okay, so the top of the root server is the top or the root of the DNS hierarchy. Okay, there are 13 sets of these root servers strategically placed around the world, operated by 12 different organizations. Each set has their own unique IP address. So when the root server receives a query from the ISP, which is the Internet Service Provider, the root server won't know the IP address, but it knows where to send the ISP resolver to find the IP address. So what the root server will do is direct the ISP, which is your Internet Service Provider, to the top level domain TLD, or TLD, or top level domain server for the .com domain. So now the resolver ISP will ask the TDL for the IP address for google.com. The TDL stores the top level domain, stores the address information for top level domains such as .com, .net, .org, and so on and so forth. So when the TDL server receives a query for the IP address for yahoo.com or google.com, msn.com, any other website, it won't know the IP address is for that website. So the TDL will direct the resolver to the next and final level, which is the authoritative name servers. Once again, the resolver will ask the ANS, authoritative name servers, for the IP address, which is this one over here. The ANS are responsible for knowing everything about the domain, which includes the IP address. They're the final authority. So when the name server receives a query, it responds with the IP address for the website, and finally the resolver will tell your computer the IP address for the website that you're looking for. Then your computer can finally retrieve that web page. It's important, once the resolver server receives the IP address for the web page, it stores it in its cache memory. This is to save time from going over the same steps again. In a nutshell, this is what DNS server. This is how the DNS server works. So first you have the ISP, which is so you have the ISP. So first you have the ISP resolver server, where the query is sent. Then if they can't find, if the ISP doesn't have the website, we'll send it to the next level, which is the root server. The root server will be passed on to the TLD, which is the TLD. I've been saying it wrong. TLD is top level domain, not TDL. So we send over the query will be passed over to TLD, top level domain. Then if they can't find it, will be finally passed on to the authoritative name server. So that's what DNS does, and I hope I've explained it right. And thank you for listening and clicking on this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and more videos on this way. I'll be posting more videos soon. Thank you. Bye.